Our first fighter this evening has recently been awarded a FIDE chess coaching badge. Please make some noise for our first fighter, Andrew the Pawnslayer Smith! Weighing in at 90 kilograms. 178 centimeters tall, age 30. Andrew is a primary school teacher. His hobbies are chess, and more chess. Let's hear some noise for Andrew the Pawnslayer Smith. Our next fighter joining him in the ring in the black corner is Trevor, Mr. Beef Onyango. However, the only beef he gets at work is when he's slamming delinquent landlords as a trainee lawyer. Let's make some noise for Trevor, Mr. Beef! Okay, are we ready for some chess? Chess! Join with me! Chess! 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 Let the games begin!
Two of them are settling down to the board. You're going to see them put on some headphones here. Through those headphones, they're going to be played very loud heavy metal. So loud, they can't hear anything you shout out during chess. So you can shout out any move that you want them to play. You can just shout out chess, whatever you want, they won't be able to hear it. Make sure you're looking at the big screen, because the big screen is going to show you the chess position as well.
It's also the kind of music you want to be listening to when you're playing chess, right?
It's exactly
loud,
what you
angry,
want.
heavy metal.
Just a bit of light industrial metal.
In your experience, guys, obviously preparation for the boxing is very important, but how much did you prepare for the chess part when you were fighting?
I mean, you have to practice playing chess in slightly unusual circumstances, particularly after the first boxing round. You have to get very used to transitioning from the boxing to being, well, having been punched in the head to having to sit down and play chess. So this is going to be the best round of chess you will see in the fight before they've had the boxing. So look at the big screen there at the other end of the barn.
Unprotected for almost 2,000 days. What's that about?
I don't know what's going on here, but if they can get rid of that little pop-up on the screen, you will be able to see the chess position as it unfolds live.
And they will be playing a time control of 9 minutes each, and if I'm not mistaken, they will be playing for 4 minutes. Is that correct?
4 minutes each round, and then they will pause. They will have a round of boxing, and then they will resume from where they left off with exactly the same position. So you can see they have the headphones on now. They're really enjoying a little bit of music while we're getting the screen sorted out here.
I do hope both fighters are going to have better protection than our PCs. Anyway.
Anthony, in your experience, do you stick to your usual style of chess, or do you try to play aggressively, quickly? What's your approach?
I think it really depends on who you're playing. If you so for my fights, I'd be mostly playing a weaker chess player. So my strategy is to be playing solid moves just quickly. So you have that time advantage. So
tension is building up there just as we're sorting the audio visual. So let's just remind ourselves who's playing what color. Andrew the Pawnslayer Smith has white, so he has the advantage of the first move. Trevor, Mr. Beef Onyango is black. And we are off.
And they're off.
We're struggling a bit with the commentary. Maybe we have to look at the screen behind us.
Our PCs are still not protected.
It's
It looks like
Chessboxing.
D4, D5. Yep, it's
Well, there's been an exchange of a bishop for a knight. At least I can see that from the board.
The player with the black pieces. Trevor looks a bit confused. What is going on? Maybe he can hear us. Can he hear us?
I think he's saying that he doesn't have the full heavy metal
The
enjoyment
right
there.
music. What were you listening to? Do the referees, organizers choose, or do you choose your own music?
You have no choice. We have the position now. Let's
excellent.
talk about the position that we have on the board. Fiona, what do you make of the early moves here?
Well, as Anthony was saying, I think White choosing quite a positional approach, but playing quickly. Andrew with the white pieces, he is the stronger player on paper. He's 1800. Trevor with the black pieces, 1200. That is a big difference. So I think Andrew is going to employ your tactic, play sensible moves quickly. Anthony, what to make of this?
Yeah, solid moves quickly. That's how I would handle opponent that was 600 points lower rated than me in the chess. Quick, solid moves quickly, have your time advantage, because that's more important than a fast checkmate. We don't need a fast checkmate in number of moves. You need a big time advantage on the clock, so if necessary, you can limit the number of boxing rounds.
It doesn't look like we'll get a fast checkmate on the board, wide open with the queen pawn, so the pawn in the left to the center, and he's just playing sensible moves, really developing his pieces. The bishop on the white square there at the bottom right, that is going to go out, and then the king will be ready to get into safety. If you're just starting out with chess, king safety, very, very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both kings are reasonably safe here. Black does have the bishop pair, which is sometimes good on an open board, this is reasonably open, but white has a strong pawn center here, which is also a good thing for white.
Chris, who would you rather be playing here?
I mean, so white has control of the center. You can see those two pawns next to each other in the middle of the board. However, black has developed more of his pieces.
Okay, so black has sacrificed his bishop. Lost a bishop.
Big miss.
But he might have been forced to lose that bishop, because if he dropped it back, there might have been a fork on the board for white. So it might have been necessary for him to give up that bishop, but not good for black.
I think what Trevor is going to have to do here, he's going to have to create some great counterplay. As you can see, the black king has now captured the side, while the white king is in the center, so what he needs to do is throw everything at the king and hope for the best.
Andrew doing the very sensible thing here, just trading off pieces, completing his development. He's now a piece up with a meets advantage, so he just needs to complete his development.
And he's doing that perfectly well. As you can see, the bishop has just come out. The king is now ready to get into safety. He's also up on the clock, so Andrew will be feeling comfortable here. And Trevor, I'm sure, is awaiting the boxing eagerly.
We're going to have a queen exchange. Oh, we have a queen exchange, right? Okay, I think this is a comfortable position for Andrew. A piece up. He's going to be able to convert this, I think, quite well. Trevor's going to have to come out very strongly in the first round of boxing.
Chris, if you're Trevor, does this really put the pressure on for the boxing that's to come?
Trevor is going to have to come out very, very hard, because he's lost a piece for a pawn, which is a big disadvantage, and that has been amplified by the fact the queen... Oh, and the time is off. So we're about to go to the boxing.
And especially we should comment also on the simplicity of the position. The position is very... Being a piece down can sometimes be okay if the position is very complicated. The position here is very simple.
It's a very technical position.
Yeah.
Problem
Yes.
is, if you're down some material, you want some complexities, you want to have the queens on, you want to have a chance to kind of stir it up a little bit. This has got very dry very quickly.
Andrew will be feeling very, very confident right now.
But on the other side, now that his work is cut out for him, Trevor might just come out here so aggressively, and there's every chance for Andrew to get nervous. You know, I've got a winning position on the board, and so will I, you know, just not try too hard in the boxing and then get into trouble? So this could be very interesting start to the boxing now.
The players are putting on their gloves. We have 2 minutes of boxing coming up. Does any of you know the players? Have you fought against them? Have you seen them fight?
I haven't sparred any of these two, but Anthony may well have done.
I haven't sparred either of them, but I was talking to Andrew earlier. He said he's been training very hard. He has actually lost a good bit of weight himself. He's in good shape. He also asked me to give a shout out to his pupils at Trent School. He says every punch that he is throwing tonight, he is thinking about when a student forgot to do their homework.
The fighters just getting the gloves on, a little bit of Vaseline applied to get ready for the action.
For the viewers, I think there's quite a lot of viewers who might be chess players watching us from home. Can you tell us what's the Vaseline about? What does it do?
Vaseline is to help the punches slip off you, so they don't mark you up a little bit. Referee Ronaldo doing as
And it's just general
giving
good
the
skincare as
fighters-
well.
Exactly. Given their last instructions, as always, I want to see a good, clean fight here. So we're expecting Trevor to come against.
I am, of course, more of a chess expert. This is my first implementing on Chessboxing. If you're watching, what I say is really important. What are the basics that the fighters need to keep in mind?
Good movement, good defense of your head is very important. Really to establish the dominance early on, so that they're still in this fray, that very early fray, that neither player's taking defensive yet. They're both just kind of testing each other out, but it's really Trevor who has to find some sort of dominance in the boxing here in order to compensate for what happened to that first round of chess.
So the other thing is the difference in physiques here. Trevor is the taller man. With Trevor, you'd expect to see him fighting at range. So you can see he's on the outside of the ring, trying to pump out those straight punches, the jab and the right cross. Whereas Andrew, the shorter fighter, is going to want to get in a little bit closer.
Ooh, we have some taunting! Oh, I love it! He is taunting him!
He wants to be up close, exchanging.
Oh, I love
just
Andrew's
as they
attitude
are now.
here. He's like, I have an advantage on the chess, and I know it, and I am going to taunt you here in the ring.
Can you explain maybe why did the referee intervene? What's going on there?
So at that point, they were clinching, they were tying each other up. The referee wants to split them up there so you can get the action going. And you can see
Don't
again,
want any
there's a
clinching,
little clinch there. So often a little tactic you can use is if you're on the receiving end of things in the boxing and maybe you're a little bit ahead in the chess, is you just tie your opponent up, buy yourself a little bit of time, take a breather, and just make the boxing round last that a little bit longer. And you can see Andrew having the better chess position. He doesn't really mind that right now.
Yes, absolutely. And also one thing to note, that when the referee steps in to, break them apart, the clock is still running. The clock does not stop at all during the boxing round. So any moment where the referee has to step in, that is time bought.
I mean, that went by surprisingly quickly. For me as a novice, I felt they just got started.
We were just getting into it.
Trust me, it feels less quick when you are in that ring.
2 minutes feels like about 10, right?
It feels like a lot of time. It feels like a lot of time.
In your opinion, who had the upper hand in the boxing?
Gosh. No, you go first, Chris.
They were feeling each other out. That was the classic opening round where they're kind of trying to probe. No one's opening up a little bit too much. I would say that one was fairly level.
Yes, but I would say level is a big victory for Andrew here because, Trevor really had to establish dominance there to compensate for what's happening on the chessboard.
Exactly. Every boxing round that goes by, when the position is like this, is going to be to Andrew's advantage.
Okay, and we are getting ready for another round of chess. Trevor, as we mentioned before, is in big trouble. He is down a piece, and one thing which is very important, which I only found out before the fight, you are not allowed to stall. So if you think, and he can just sit and wait through the next round of boxing, that is not going to happen.
And now white's got a rook on the 7th. That is all hail the 7th rank. Isn't that a chess adage? This is yes. Material deficit. He also has worse pieces. His pieces are badly placed. So white's rook is on the 7th rank. It's exactly where it wants to be. It's going to maraud along
There's
that
a
rank.
threat
protecting
here.
the pawns.
There is a threat from Trevor
Well,
here.
it's kind of a threat. It looks like a back checkmate, but actually Andrew has things under control because his bishop can drop back all the way.
Well, he would
to block
undefend
the
his rook
check.
if he did. So he's still yeah, okay, no, well, he's protected.
He saw
He's
it.
protected.
Andrew
He's
saw
it.
it.
Of
He
course
was
he
like,
saw it.
better safe
Of course
than
he saw
sorry. Let's give some space to my king. Make sure there's no trouble on the first rank.
Yeah, he's
And
doing
black is
everything
offering,
sensibly.
Trevor is offering an exchange of rooks, which is
Yeah.
surprising. When you're material down, usually you want to keep as much material as possible on the board.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the right strategy by Trevor at all. This should be easy for Andrew to press a really strong advantage here.
And he will be able to play his moves quickly as well, which will be helpful.
Yes.
He's doing the right thing. He's bringing
Centralizing
his
the king.
to the center of the
Yeah.
board.
They're
Yeah.
moving so quickly here. If you were Trevor as black with a material down position, surely you'd be playing as slowly as you can here rather than rattling the moves out. However, Trevor's king is a little bit more active. Maybe he can keep this going for a while.
As you can see, he has a majority on the left side of the board, so that's a 2 versus 1 pawns. He's going to try to use that, but Andrew's king is quite active. He's spending a little bit of time now, which Trevor will be happy to see. I think Trevor's goal is to get to the next round of boxing and then do something there.
We will see another round of boxing, so we're glad for that. And we will have to see Trevor come out even more aggressively in the next round. And I'm excited for that.
Well, the king is in there. That's a nice move from Andrew. Andrew is slowly improving his position. He has more material. He's probably going to move his king in again, I imagine.
Yeah, I think the problem for black is at some point going to run out of moves, because you can see the black king right now is defending that black pawn. But at some point when black runs out of pawn moves on the other side, on the right side of the board, the king is going to have to move, and then Andrew is going to capture that pawn, the black pawn, and the black position is going to fall apart.
A zugzwang. So-called zugzwang.
Yeah, so Zugzwang.
So Zugzwang is a German. It's using the advantage of the German language of just stringing two words together. Zug, I believe, meaning train, train or move, yes. And Zwang means what, force?
It's force, yeah.
Force,
so basically
So
you're
it's move
forced to
yes.
move.
You're forced to move. You don't want to move, but you have to move. And that's how a lot of end games in chess are decided.
And we're getting very close to it. As you can see, because the bishop will capture it. So I think Trevor right now, he is really waiting for the ball and to get back into the ring.
And you can just mark time by moving his bishop back and forth. Okay, well, there's a threat on the bishop, so I get the bishop. Okay, oh, we have some boxing!
And guys, what do you think? This is really crucial. Do you think Trevor has to decide the fight now?
I mean, the game has moved on very, very quickly. I think Trevor's maybe a little bit impacted by the atmosphere.
He could have slowed that one down for sure. If you look at the time on the clock, Trevor still has 4.5 minutes, so he could have, okay, you can't stall, but he could have at least had a little bit of, let's say, a tactical think there, but he was bashing out the moves quite quickly. The game has progressed maybe a little bit too far for his liking. I suspect he won't get through another chess round.
I was just gonna say
so
that he's not gonna last another 4 minutes. So, I mean, if you're Trevor now, what do you do in the ring? Do you have to take risks?
I mean, you
what
have
do
to
do?
come out all guns blazing.
He has to go berserker.
He has to go berserker. The problem is, in the first round, it looked pretty level, so Trevor's going to have to find something really quite special here in the second box.
But you never know what happens with the psychology. You know, like, Andrew might think, okay, the chess is in the bag, and just gets nervous in the boxing. You don't know. Anything can happen, and it can happen very quickly in this boxing, especially when these guys come out like this.
Trevor did land a decent right there on the bell, but Andrew has responded simply by
he's holding
closing
himself
him down.
up.
Andrew, I have to say, is looking in the best shape I've seen him.
Absolutely.
He's definitely dropped a little bit of weight. He's looking very debonair with that moustache.
He's moving well.
He's oozing class. He's giving it a little bit of the razzle
bit
dazzle.
He's just
the
a bit
hand
of the Ali dance there, I think, you know.
Yeah, I think Andrew's enjoying himself here, knowing.
As are we all, Chris.
We are having a great time. I have a question. If I am the boxer, how do I know how much time I have left? Do I know?
You don't.
You have a general sense. There's usually a clap on the board with 10 seconds to go. Generally, you're relying on your own sense as to how much time is left. I imagine we're already getting close to a minute through the round as Andrew lands a good stiff jab there to Trevor,
Another clinch.
who is going to have to go some and pull something out here if he's to turn the tables, because this is rapidly ebbing away from him, I would say.
I think given the pace that these two came out with at the beginning of the round, I think they're a little bit gassed at this point. I don't think anyone's going to have a knockout strength left in this round.
A solid right there, Andrew. If anything, I would say Andrew is
inching closer and closer. I think if we go to the chess, it will be decided there, but
he's definitely landing those hits.
Yeah.
He's scoring those points very well, Andrew.
Andrew, a good couple of jabs there from Trevor. Andrew comes back with the right, and that is the end of the round.
There is technically has enough time on the clock, you know. Of course, he can overtly stall, but he can play slowly. So there is enough time on the clock that on his own clock, because the round would be 4 minutes. He's got 4 minutes and 36 seconds. So he can draw it out a bit and potentially force another round of boxing if he plays slowly, potentially.
he's going to have to be really, really mindful of the clock time. It's a delicate situation with 4.5 minutes on the clock. You need to survive 4 minutes. Andrew is going to be able to make all his moves very, very quickly. So,
yeah, I mean, Andrew, not only with the material advantage, but look at the position of the two kings. Andrew's king has penetrated there into black's half. And we're back to the board after that round of boxing. Fiona, what's the position like here?
the position is completely lost for Trevor. You guys couldn't hear us, but we were just saying to our audience at home, what Trevor has to do is he has to be really clever about his time usage. He needs to survive 4 minutes of chess, which is tough in this position, so he cannot stall, but he needs to play slowly, that's for sure.
And Andrew is clearing the way for that pawn to advance down the board.
His next 4 moves are going to be simply advancing that pawn to queen.
Yep, when the pawn reaches the other end of the board, you can turn it to any piece you want, most normally a queen, and Andrew is preparing to get himself a queen on top of the bishop that he already has.
Maybe the one thing he needs to watch out for is not to create a stalemate. What's a stalemate? A stalemate is when black cannot make a legal move. Right now, as you can see, all the pawns, the black pawns are blocked. So the only black piece that can move is the king. So you need to make sure, I think this is a good strategy by Andrew, to give a check every move. If you give a check, you make sure there's no stalemate.
I think there's a mate on the board maybe soon. No. Okay,
there's a check again. I think we're going to see a checkmate very soon on the board.
Bringing in the bishop, Andrew is doing this so well, bringing in all the pieces. The black
check
king.
again. This is getting
there is a mate.
Close.
Will he find it? Yes, I think bishop
checkmate.
c4 is
checkmate.
on the board.
That is checkmate.
And that ends the first bout.
Congratulations, that is the first match.
We have a hug by the players.
Very impressive stuff by Andrew on the chessboard. He won the piece quite early in the game and he never looked back, Chris.
Clinical stuff there from Andrew, both on the board and in the ring.
And the winner is Andrew Pawnslayer